안녕하세요, 여러분들. Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Korean with David. Today's episode is a little different. We're going to try to give you some tips and tricks to help you learn Korean faster and better and help you retain what you learn more. So, for me, when I learned Korean, I had made the mistake of buying like the university level book, Korean 101, which is the basic Korean book. The problem was that it focused too much on grammar, and I knew I wasn't going to learn anything from just learning grammar. So what I did, I threw the book away, and I went to the internet, because the internet is a great resource for us language learners. I followed up with myself to go find any Korean movie, Korean drama, Korean music that was out there, and that's all I did. I listened and listened and listened, and I shadowed it. So what is shadowing? Shadowing is when you hear them say something. Like, we've learned a lot already, so it's something like, let's see. Let's say, where did you come from? 어디서 왔어? So when I spoke it, I would listen to the actor, 어디서 왔어? And I'd stop the recording or stop the video and I'd say, 어디서 왔어? I'd try to get it exactly the same so I get good pronunciation. I'd go back, play it again, and at the same time, when he said it, I would say it. Now this helped with pronunciation, but I didn't know what I was saying. So I had watched these dramas multiple times. Once it would be with the English subtitles, and then I would watch it again with the English subtitles, and finally, no subtitle. And this made it really easy at first, but it really made it hard because you had to watch it at least like 2-3 times, and you had to keep practicing that. So for movies, it's a lot harder. For dramas, it's a lot easier. So the first kind of dramas that I watched and shadowed were really things like 꽃보다 남자, which is the Flowers Before Boys, and Pasta, which is another kind of cooking one here. And everything that they said, I would just copy as much as I could and try to use as much as I can. With songs, it's always fun to have songs playing because you can really hear different people speak differently. And this is also something that helps with listening. If we can hear what they're saying, even if it's different, it helps us kind of gain that ear and train our ears to be able to listen more. And when we can hear it better, we have a much better chance at picking the sound and making it sound the best that we can. Other than that, if you want to learn things like the Korean alphabet, how to read and write, it's a whole different kind of situation, but it's still used the same way. When you want to learn how to read and write, start basic. If you have friends around you who speak Korean, be friends with them, speak as much as you can, and learn from them. They might not like it at first, but they'll start realizing that you are interested in it. Now, there are other things as well, and there are many YouTube channels and many other resources that kind of show more. Things like buying books that help learn are great, but that does not help you with speaking because they don't tell you really the situation, the real meaning, or when and why it's used. It focuses too much on grammar and vocabulary. So, if you do buy the book and learn, that's great. You might be able to do well. But for me, I wasn't one of those people. So, I suggest more listening and practice speaking in that way. That's why this kind of podcast, we focus more on expressions instead of the grammar and vocabulary. Even though you do learn vocabulary, we've tried to focus more on daily expressions that you can use right now. So, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to let me know. Send me an email at learnkoreanwithdavid@gmail.com. And in the future, we might do more possible like episodes like this where it's like a Q&A. If you guys have questions that we can answer on the podcast, I'm more than happy to answer them. Just let me know, and we'll see how that goes. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know it was different than our usual, but it's also good to have some tips and tricks and see what it's like to learn. So again, if you want to send me an email, send it to learnkoreanwithdavid@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram at learnkoreanwithdavidig. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening. 다음에 봐요.